It's Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves. Talk about whatever you want. 603-283-6160. That's the caller line. 603-283-6160. Man, it's shocking how frazzled I am just knowing that, Ian called the show.
Yeah.
And I had to step out for that, obviously, but it sucks, man.
One of my pet peeves in life is the game of telephone. Right? You've all played this at some point, right? You sat down in your grade school or whatever, and like the teacher whispered, a series of things into person number one's ear.
Well, hold on. No one is relaying any messages to me from Ian, and no one is relaying any messages from Ian to me.
This is true. But there are facts being relayed, such as,
not from Ian to me and not from me to Ian.
Correct. But status updates as far as like, how did I plug the board in, stuff like that? How did I connect to the radio feed, et cetera, and so on? These are things that normally you and he would talk about, but because you can't, I'm sort of in the middle now. I'm the middleman, if you will.
Well, except you're not, because you're not relaying any messages to Ian from me or any messages from me to Ian. So, but I mean, it sucks, man. Since I came to New Hampshire, he's basically been my best friend. The first best friend that was in New Hampshire moved to Florida. So that was it. And I was like, okay. And then me and Ian became really good friends over the last 2.5 years. And now he's in jail and I'm not even allowed to speak with him.
Yeah, it's crappy. And what a BS, thing to put on somebody as far as their bail conditions are concerned.
I mean, we have a radio show that we do together. We work together.
Yes.
I don't know how they expect us to do that.
Unless it's intentional.
Obviously, it's not an issue right now because he's in jail, so I'm able to be here all I want. But as soon as, he gets out of jail, it's going to be like, all right, Aria, you can't do Free Talk Live anymore? It's so bizarre.
Yeah, or is he going to have to, leave on the days that you come in? And, I don't know how that's all going to play out, and it does suck that we have to even consider it.
Now, all of this is happening because on March the 16th of 2021, government agencies conspired together and raided the Free Talk Live studio, the Bitcoin Embassy, my house, Renee and Andy Spinella's house, and Colleen Fordham's house. That's right. A 60-year-old grandmother was raided and arrested by the FBI. We were taken into custody, and nobody remained in custody. You may be wondering what you can do to help. Check out thecrypto6.com. There are multiple ways in which you can donate to the Legal Defense Fund because these charges aren't a joke. It's going to take a serious legal team and many experts to protect us from further state aggression. And in fact, I have secured an attorney. So thank you to all who have donated for that. Of course, we're not done paying this attorney.
Not by any stretch. I know some people out there think that, oh, well, you guys have a radio show and you're broadcasting this website every night, and I'm sure you got enough. No, we don't. We don't have enough. We don't even have close to enough money for one, much less two people to get through this entire process, much less all of the Crypto 6. So if you can, please keep it coming.
For some perspective on exactly what numbers we're talking about here, the attorney that I've retained, just for the retainer, $250,000.
That hurts me so bad.
Oh,
that hurts me so bad.
But it's important because this case is going to set precedent.
That's
going to
wallet
affect
just shrunk up and died
for decades to come. You can help us. Check it out. Thecrypto6.com. Does crypto6.com also work? Or is
SIX or the number 6.
No, I mean, can we drop the word the?
No, I believe it has to be the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thecrypto6.com. It's all a very stressful experience, But this too will pass. We'll get through this and be reunited. And
maybe the Civil War will have kicked off by then, and it won't really matter because we'll be in a bunker somewhere defending ourselves from the redcoats.
I got a couple
and broadcasting Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I got a couple of friends who, they're casual listeners. They'll tune in because they know I do the show, but every once a week or something like that. And one of my friends, Chris, recently pinged me, and he was like, "Is the show still going on?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, it's still going on. If I have anything to do with it, it'll not only keep going, but if anything, we'll amplify it."
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working to do. I don't want to just restore to Free Talk Live to how it was. I want to improve it. And now we can monitor all of these different chat apps at once. Everything's being automated. Hopefully, we are indeed improving Free Talk Live. But let's go to the phones. We got Tom calling from New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
The Derek Chauvin trial has, they've had the final arguments and the jury is out now. and they're taking out all kinds of precautions in case of all the bad things that could go wrong as far as civil unrest and everything.
Did they announce the decision?
No, but
Deliberation.
they're getting ready for all the bad things that could happen if the verdict is not guilty.
Oh, so politicians are surrounding themselves with guns.
Well, Maxine Waters is out in the street as we speak, and she is rallying the forces.
Who is Maxine Waters?
She's a representative from what, California? Tom, do you know?
The problem is, oh, by the way, it was on this date back in 1993 that the feds raided the Branch Davidian compound in Texas, and 2 years later, somebody retaliated, but they retaliated wrong. They blew up the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, but they killed 160 innocent people that did not deserve it, and 8 cops. And if there's rioting going on after the the verdict is announced, it could have been avoided by not finding the defendant not guilty. They should make sure they need to implement safeguards to make sure that when a cop commits a murder, the cop shall definitely get convicted. And they can simply change the laws so that they're guilty until proven innocent. Simple as that. And that they
I don't like the idea
guilty until proven innocent.
I can't endorse that at all.
Well,
I will say that there is literally video of this cop killing George Floyd. It's pretty much an open and shut case.
Well, let me point out that they control the collection of evidence, and their job is to prove what happened. So they got to be considered guilty until proven innocent. And
I don't agree with that at all, Tom.
All right, Tom, it's going to be a hung jury.
We have to extend
how do you
think
they're going to react to a hung jury?
I don't know, but what I hope happens if people do go out and fight back, that they don't go out and kill innocent people that don't deserve it.
What about innocent businesses?
Against the government, they not even the politicians. When they look at the riot at the Capitol, where all those Congress members were doing was babbling and scribbling.
Yes, but that babbling and scribbling destroyed people's lives, Tom.
Well,
among them, the Crypto 6 here in New Hampshire.
The cops are
it's not inconsequential whatsoever what Congress is doing. They are monsters.
The cops are the ones that are actually intimidating people into complying.
Yes, on behalf of the politicians.
Yeah, they're the armed thugs.
The human race.
Thank you so much for the call tonight, Tom. We have to extend human rights to everyone.
To every human.
Even to our enemies. And that would include the police.
Yes.
I mean, the moment we stop allowing them to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, the moment we're no better than they are.
What we don't have to do, however, is tolerate organizations that are monopolies, particularly monopolies on initiating force and violence. And that is what the police are.
Yes, absolutely. So show prep, my ability to look up what's happening in the world is limited. Let's go with that. I do know that Derek Chauvin, his trial went to jury today.
Jury deliberation today. And
if you support Derek Chauvin, are you a chauvinist?
Oh, absolutely. You would almost have to be.
I think, and I've been watching the trial from a distance. I don't really care, really. But even though that I should, I think it's going to be hung jury. I don't think they're going to be able to decide on this. I think that there will be riots. There will be more things being burned down, more private businesses. And I know that the AOCs and the Maxine Waters of this world are going to be riding right up there in the front, leading it on, screaming the war charge. And we were talking about the Civil War just a little while ago, and I'm just ready for it because this is a bandit and needs to get pulled off. The people are. They're not in their right minds. This whole last year has just proven that to me, that the people are they're lunatics, and they want blood, and they're not going to stop until they get blood.
Isn't it bizarre, man? The mask mandate here in New Hampshire has officially expired.
The state mandated.
Yeah, I'm getting into that.
Okay.
Of course, there are still those in cities, but
at
there
the,
aren't.
at the individual level. So I think the businesses still have to comply with mask mandate, not just Keene and
Right.
Nashua until the mid-May.
But there still aren't any fewer masks in sight. And more importantly, Chris Sununu admitted in his statement to WMUR about it that the mask mandate was never necessary in the first place.
Really?
He said something to the effect of, well, New Hampshire residents don't need a mandate to tell them how to
this guy,
protect one
man.
another.
He needs to be slapped.
You rioters
down
need to
more
go to
than ever.
Sununu's house.
And he literally gave us a mandate because he thought exactly the opposite. And then he goes on WMUR and says, oh, the mandate's not necessary for people to do the right thing. 603-283-6160.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL